In the beginning, God created humanity, created them to live with Him as His family, to rule over the world in His image as little versions of Him, bringing the order of His beautiful kingdom to all of creation. But the humans were deceived, tricked by a divine serpent, not really an angel, more like a dragon. He talked to the humans, told them they couldn't trust God. God wasn't giving them the best things, and so they rebelled against God, their king. But rebels cannot stay, and so they were exiled out of the garden, away from their home, away from their king, away from their purpose, away from the life of God, into a wilderness of chaos and death. God had a warning for humanity. They would be at war, always fighting the dragon and his children. But God promised a saving son, a rescuer to bring them home. He would defeat the dragon and make things right again, but it would cost him dearly. Thousands of years passed. Many saving sons came. Some brought the people back to God, but it was only ever temporary. They fought giants and evil kings, cruel nations and their gods, all children of the dragon. When they were trusting God, they won. When they weren't, they lost. Sometimes they even joined the dragon's side. They finally managed to destroy the giants, but none of them could defeat the dragon. And so they waited. And then, when no one was expecting it, he came. Not as a great hero, not even as anyone important, but as a baby, like you and me. Except he was born in a stable, with a feeding trough for a cot, and something about angels, shepherds, wise men, and his own star. Jesus is like us, and not like us, and that might be more important than you think. The dragon tried to kill baby Jesus. He knew why he'd come, and just like Pharaoh of old, Herod slaughtered the boys. But Jesus escaped. The war against the dragon and his children was reaching its climax. When Jesus grew up, he was baptized. He went down into the Jordan River, just like Joshua, when he led the 12 tribes of Israel through to begin the assault on the land of the giants. And so Jesus came through the river, a new Joshua, with a new 12, a declaration that his assault on the dragon's rule had begun. The dragon confronted Jesus in the wilderness. Maybe he could convince Jesus to join him. Many others had done. Even the greatest heroes had given in. No one had resisted his corruption before. The dragon offered him power and fame, even offered to make Jesus king. Just do things his way instead of God's. It was the same deception used in the very beginning. But Jesus is not like us. This human was the same, but different. Son of man and Son of God. The dragon knew he had lost this round and slinked away for now. Finally, someone who is able to resist the dragon. Jesus went head-on into enemy territory, defeating the dragon and his children everywhere he went. He cast out demons, he healed the sick, declared the kingdom of God was at hand. He taught love and justice, rebuked leaders and forgave sins. He calmed storms and even raised the dead. This Jesus can raise the dead? What? His kingdom was crumbling. The dragon was getting desperate. Jesus had to be stopped. And so he did what he'd always done. He deceived those who should have known better. The religious leaders, the ones who were meant to work for God. The rulers, the ones who were meant to bring justice and look after people. And even one of the 12, Jesus' friend. Jesus knew what was coming. He could see what the dragon was up to. He warned his friends, but they didn't understand. He took them to a garden, a final showdown with the dragon, human versus serpent, just like in the beginning. A battle of wills. It was the hardest yet. Jesus didn't want to die, but he couldn't give in. He resisted the dragon, his strongest temptation, overcome in the battle of wills, not Jesus' human will, but God's. And then, Just when he realized he'd been defeated, the dragon made his move. Those he'd deceived, the ones who'd become his children, arrested Jesus and took him away. They beat him, mocked him, and nailed him to a cross to die. But Jesus knew they'd been deceived, lied to by the dragon, that they didn't realize, so he didn't fight back, but said, "Father, forgive them." And then he died. Once again, humanity had rejected their king, but this time they killed him. The dragon had won. The dragon and his children rejoiced. The promised rescuer was dead. The earth and humanity was theirs. Their kingdoms would reign forever. Jesus' friends and followers were sad and confused. He was the rescuer, wasn't he? How could the rescuer have been killed? God's rescue had failed. Or so they thought. And then it happened. Days later, just when they'd given up hope, his tomb was found empty. What could this mean? Had someone taken his body? Was this a cruel trick? Suddenly, people started meeting Jesus in a garden, for breakfast at the beach, walking along a road. He even turned up to meet his friends in a locked room. Jesus was alive. He had beaten death. A child of the dragon defeated. The dragon had been deceived. God had pulled the ultimate uno reverso. For God to get his perfect world and have a human family, corrupt humanity would have to die, and new humans created, ones that could resist the dragon. But only God can resist the dragon. Jesus was the first new human, one with the power of God inside him. Jesus' death showed he was like us, and yet his resurrection also proved he was not like us. He had resisted the dragon. He was not corrupt. He could never be separated from life, and he could die in our place. After 40 days with his friends, hanging out and teaching, Jesus ascended to heaven, body and all, the first new human back, living with God. The King taking his rightful place, seated on high, ruling and reigning, all authority in heaven and on earth, taken from the dragon and his children, and returned to the King. But Jesus didn't just leave. He promised a gift for his friends and those who trust in him. His death had made them clean, and now his Spirit would make them new. God was welcoming humanity back. He would live with them once again. New humans, able to resist the dragon, by God living inside them. Now they could be his images again, doing what they were created to do, little versions of God bringing his kingdom on the earth. One day, Jesus will return to earth. He will slay the dragon and defeat his children. No more death, no more corruption, no more pain or suffering, no more sadness or tears. He will bring heaven back down, so we can live with him and walk with him face to face. And we will be at peace, spreading his kingdom, bringing his love and joy throughout all creation forever. But you don't have to wait until then. King Jesus is reigning now. The kingdom is here, and there is work to be done. There is injustice to fight, joy to bring, brokenness to be restored, hurts to heal, and God's family to build. The battle is real. The dragon and his children are not dead yet. The dragon slayer is calling. He's offering his Spirit to you, so you can join the family, because eternity starts today.